late fall here in Maryland, and we've actually had a really nice fall weather-wise. Temperature has been nice, and not too many storms, so it's been really good for getting in some sawmilling before it gets too cold here. So that's just what I'm going to be doing today. So I have some red Ambrosia maple. So it's a red maple tree, and it has the Ambrosia beetle markings. I got this from my mom's house. A storm blew this tree over, and I was able to trailer it back to my place with the sawmill and go ahead and cut it up, which we'll be doing here today. You can see not that big of a log. It's definitely got some curve to it, so we got it spaced off the log dogs on the right. But what's interesting is it's got this burl piece on the end. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off first. Just trying to think if I want to slab it out. We'll slab it out now. You could turn it into a bowl, but I don't do much turning, at least not right now. I'm going to go ahead and just try to cut that burl off piece by piece to see what the heck it looks like. It's going to be kind of wild looking, but I got to find a way to hold this log in place so it doesn't move while I'm doing that. So we're going to put another clamp or two on, and maybe add some wedges to help hold it, because it's with a log this small, it's just going to want to roll. That was kind of fun, something different. Used to cutting 8-foot lengths or greater, and at this we're cutting what, 6-7 inches. So this is kind of neat. So let's see what we got here. See, there's definitely some rot in the middle. So interesting looking. I cut these to 3/4 inch. 3/4 inch depth. So that's the very bottom piece. Gotta go back up. Some wild figures, some wild grain going on there. I don't know what the heck I'll do with these. Any coasters. It's pretty cool looking. Pretty cool. It's fairly intact still. There we are. I think this is a better view. They're pretty neat. Pretty neat looking. So yeah, we'll see. I'll try to dry those somehow. I'm not familiar with drying something this small, but figure something out. So that's good. All good. We'll stick those to the side. I'm going to get ready to cut the log portion of that. So we just cut the burl off. But now let's get into the meat of the cutting. This is the second time I've had a blade snap on this mill. It's a homemade mill, and of course I'm still learning how to use it and dialing in all the settings. So this kind of thing does happen, and that's why it's important to have the guards on. It's always important not to stand alongside of it on either side while the sawmill's running. But I think what I determined happened here was the drive wheel on the right-hand side that holds the blade actually was put on and off, taken on and off so many times during my initial build of this mill that it was no longer running true because I was basically beating it on with a mallet onto the shaft. So I since got a new wheel and installed it, and it seems to help a lot. But for today, I just went ahead and put a new blade on and kept cutting. All right, so not bad. Doesn't have as much Ambrosia coloring. I sawed the trunk up back before YouTube, and a lot more going on. This looks fairly plain compared to that. It's still neat looking, just not as many Ambrosia marks. Get you a close up. Still a neat piece. Like I said, just not. I put a picture of the trunk up. It looked crazier than this. More markings. That's all right. We're still on the top, so we'll. I'm gonna put that slab on top just for weight, and we'll keep sawing and see. I think it'll look different when we get closer towards the middle. It's very possible. So these are the photos of the trunk, which, like I said, had more unique markings, but we'll see when we get later into the log if we see more of this. So we've already seen the piece on the left. I took a peek, but the two pieces on the right are new. You see a little more of the beetle markings, the Ambrosia marking. Not crazy. Neat looking though, unique. Definitely some one-off pieces will come out of this. But I've been cutting at a 5/4. Seems to be a reasonable thickness. You can get by the time you're done planing in the shop, once this dries, you can probably get about an inch pieces or smaller thickness wise, so nothing wrong with that. So I'm gonna go start stacking these slabs this side. We're gonna get it flipped over because it's starting to become pretty unstable, and we'll keep cutting. Time to see what we got. centerpiece I think is more interesting than the other two, which just makes sense. It's kind of cool. We got some like orange like flame look right up the very center there, but you can see some ambrosia markings. Like I said, this middle piece is probably the most useful piece. The other two are fairly small. This one especially is might just be a top cap for my drying stack, but that's alright. I'll go ahead and stack these up. This is such a light log that the saw can just kind of throw the whole thing around. Makes it dangerous. Grain is interesting looking. Got some ambrosia markings. We'll try to flip it over and see if we get a more stable cut. So I got the next maple log up here. As you can see, accidentally straight, and it's fairly small. The tree itself wasn't that big, so this is I think the next section up from the previous. So go ahead and slap it out. Probably a little thicker than the last one. We go 8/4. We'll see what we get. It's probably gonna warp some because it's just so small. When I start cutting, the stresses are gonna relieve, and the boards will start to bow up on the edges. But we'll give it a shot, see what we get out of it. Looks nice, a piece on the right especially. Pretty much the usable piece out of the whole log, so a lot of work for very little yield. Could have snuck another board out of there, like I said, but it's just not worth it as far as risking the wood moving and wrecking something on the saw. We're going to get these stacked aside and then see what other logs we got. And there we are. I'll save you the pain of watching that me start the cut about 10 times, but you can see here, kept going into the cut, I kept diving, did it about 4 times. Put a new blade on it, it's fine, so very strange. The blade was cutting fine and then it wasn't all of a sudden, so if I nicked it on something I didn't see, that's almost what it seems like, but new blade, it's cutting good, that's all that matters. This piece is actually very neat, both of these. One on the right actually like a little better. It's got the ambrosia beetle markings throughout the whole thing. Crazy looking. This piece here is pretty neat looking as well. Because all those miscuts on the one end, because it's so small, I ended up with probably 13 quarter, 14 quarter on the left, and probably 8 quarter on the right. I actually kind of think it'd be kind of neat to plane them even, once they dry. And this would be a wild looking river table, both of these slabs. So definitely got potential, but had some frustrations with the mill there for a couple minutes there. So we're gonna throw this to the side and see what else we can find to cut. But I think that's it for the Ambrosia maple that I have. Red maple. I still have the silver maple that's also Ambrosia. I have a video of me picking that up. I haven't cut that up yet.